So you're thinking about moving to Toronto? In this video, I'm going to show you some of the pros and cons about living in an area called the Path. So please stick around to the end because the best kept secret is at the end. So before I start talking about the pros and cons of living in Toronto, I want to talk to you a little bit about living in the city. Toronto is the major financial center of Canada. There are over 20 million people in the metro area of Toronto. But Toronto has a cool vibe to it because it consists of many little boroughs. And in these boroughs, you'll experience different cultures, and there's a vibe to them with different kind of shops and restaurants that reflect the cultures that are living in the area. So now I want to talk about the cons of living in the downtown Toronto. Many people like the suburban feel of living outside of the city, where you might have parks, you might have bike trails, hiking trails. It might be easier to get to cottage areas when you're in those locations. So if you don't want the hustle and bustle of the city, you're not into the, nightlife or the, vibrant atmosphere of the big city, you might consider living in an outlying area because you can commute to downtown Toronto via GO train services. There are bus services and other kind of transit services that are available to you. So now I want to talk about the pros of living in the downtown area near to the Path. The first thing is you don't have to battle traffic because the Path is a 30-kilometer stretch of indoor walkways and pathways that have access to condos, shopping malls, office buildings, and activity centers. So you don't have to battle traffic coming in and out of Toronto. And as everybody knows, they've heard that the Don Valley is a parking lot. And it's called that for no better reason than you sit there parked in busy traffic for hours at a time. So living near the Path is a great advantage to people that don't want to waste time traveling in and out of the city. Going into the Path at the southern end, I want to talk first of all about the wonderful harborfront area we have in downtown Toronto. Right across the street from the southern access to the Path is the Toronto waterfront, and you can access Toronto Island. In about a 10-minute ferry ride, you can get to Toronto Island where you can experience the wonderful parks, walking trails, hiking trails, restaurants, and Center Island, which has great activities for children and rides. There's ferry rides that go every hour, half hour during the day. And there's also water taxis if you want a quick route to get there. Now, entering into the pathway at the southern end, you have the Water Park Place, which has office buildings and 2 condo towers that are 60 and 70 stories tall. In there, you have access to a food court. There's a little buffet area called Ollie Express, which has an express deli area with soups and sandwiches that are for takeout. And you also have banks, and there's 2 grocery stores in that area. There is a Longo's, and there's also a Nature's Emporium, which is a wonderful sort of a health food type grocery store with all kinds of organic products and things like that. And as you go a little bit east in that area, you'll see the Maple Leaf Square where the Toronto Maple Leafs play and the Scotiabank Arena. And going up from there, we'll pass through Union Station, which I'll get to a little bit later. But going just north of Union Station, you have the Royal Fairmont Hotel, which is one of Toronto's premier hotels. And then going just east of there, off of Front Street, you have the Hockey Hall of Fame, which you don't want to miss if you're interested in the NHL, and you can see all kinds of sports memorabilia in that center. Now going back just a little bit south of there, you have the Hummingbird Center, which is a great center for the arts. They have live concerts there. And north of there, just up Yonge Street, across the street from Yonge Street is Massey Hall, which is one of Toronto's premier concert venues for musicians and artists from all over the world. And just north of there, along Yonge Street, you come to the Eaton Centre. The Toronto Eaton Centre is a 3-story mall with bookstores, restaurants, all kinds of boutiques, and there's a wonderful food court in there. And all along that area between Union Station and the Toronto Eaton Centre, you'll find all kinds of little shopping areas with little food courts. There's office buildings attached to it. You'll find the First Canadian Place in there. And then going west from Front Street in that area, you'll find the Toronto Metro Convention Centre, which has the Toronto Auto Show, Comic-Con, the One of a Kind show, all kinds of events all throughout the year are at that center. You can look them up online. You also have access in that area to the Toronto Aquarium, which is one of Toronto's newest events for families. And then you have the CN Tower, where you can go up and get an aerial view of Canada's tallest building. And there's a wonderful revolving restaurant up in there. And in that area as well, you have the center where the Toronto Blue Jays play, the Rogers Centre, and also the Toronto Raptors in that area as well. So we have all access to the major sports venues as well. And let's go up north now. From the Eaton Centre, you can also access College Street. This path is 30 kilometers long, and it extends in all different directions. And at College Street, you have access to another shopping mall and a subway stop as well. There are many cool little venues along the pathway, such as an indoor golf simulator. There's an exercise studio. There are wonderful restaurants. And right in Union Square, you'll have this fantastic chicken place called Union Chicken, which is a rotisserie chicken place, one of my favorite chicken places in Toronto. So I guess the best kept secret is that right in the center of the path is Union Station. In Union Station, you have access to all forms of transit all across Toronto. You have the subway system, the streetcar system, the GO train system, and most importantly, you have the UP Express, which links the Union Station to the Toronto Airport. In about 25 minutes, you get to Toronto International Airport. So guests from all over the world can arrive at Toronto Airport and have an easy access right to downtown Toronto and to this wonderful pathway experience. And I just hope you have enjoyed this video, and I hope you will subscribe to my channel, and please contact me if you have any questions at all.